On August 25th, a video surfaced showing 3 police officers and 3 police dogs stationed at the door of a subway car in Beijing. The heavy security presence sparked debate, with some questioning the cost and necessity of such measures. On July 16th, another video from Beijing's subway showed 2 security staff scanning QR codes and checking each passenger's identification. Comments online described the atmosphere in Beijing. One person wrote that the city felt like it had checkpoints every few steps, comparing it to a prison. On August 22nd, police with dogs were also seen patrolling the Shanghai Stadium subway station. Observers noted that security procedures in China's subways now resemble those at airports. China appears to be the only country where subway passengers are routinely subjected to extensive identity checks. In Europe, the US, and Japan, such measures are rarely seen. Critics point out that while most subway systems in China are losing money, large amounts of resources are being spent on these checks, adding costs and inconveniences for commuters. The financial pressure on subway operators comes at a time when China's economy is slowing and consumer demand is weakening. Annual reports from the industry in 2024 highlight the fiscal stress facing major cities and show how subways reflect wider economic conditions. Beijing's subway system, for example, reported annual operating costs of 34.7 billion yuan, while ticket revenue was only 11.2 billion yuan. The resulting shortfall of 25.3 billion yuan required heavy government subsidies. So where is the money going? The main contributors are labor and maintenance costs. According to data released by the Ministry of Transport in 2025, labor costs account for nearly 50% of Beijing subway's operating expenses. Beijing subway security measures have always been strict. Bag checks are a routine procedure, especially in the city's central business district. In May this year, Beijing's Dawang Street subway station saw a 200-meter security line during the 8:30 a.m. rush hour, with the queue stretching into the streets. Passengers faced detailed screenings, including requests to remove coats and recheck belt buckles, leaving commuters frustrated. One office worker living in Shuangjing joked that it was the first time in his life he had been asked to remove the laces from his sneakers for inspection. The long wait time alone took up 40 minutes. One Beijing commuter complained, "Today I bought a few steamed buns, and a security guard insisted I send them through the scanner. Do they suspect I've hidden a bomb inside my hot buns?" Another commenter calculated that a security check, which used to take just 1 minute, now takes up to 30 minutes during the morning rush hour, causing significant congestion. According to some observers, each subway entrance typically has 5 to 6 security staff, and large stations with multiple entrances may deploy 40 to 50 security guards. Recently, it was revealed that one subway station had as many as 6 to 8 security guards, costing up to 2.4 million yuan annually. This highlights the significant and perhaps unmanageable cost of security checks. Professor Liang Pinghan from Sun Yat-sen University's School of Political Science and Public Affairs pointed out that in 2022, the cost of security checks at Beijing subway stations was 1.6 billion yuan, or 10.2% of its operating costs. With 1,462 subway station entrances, the total cost for security checks across China was estimated to be at 20.9 billion yuan in 2022. But does more security staff mean more safety? One security guard in Beijing admitted that 6 staff would not be able to stop a dangerous individual in case of an emergency. He recalled an incident involving a drunk passenger where the security guards, untrained in restraining individuals, had to call the police, which took 20 minutes. Another subway security staff member explained that although they didn't want to stand guard, they had to follow company policies and would face penalties for missing staff. He mentioned that during off-peak hours, when only 2 passengers were present, 6 guards still had to remain on duty, with no action to take. Some online comments criticized the large-scale security measures as ineffective. pointing out that small, low-probability incidents were using up valuable time for millions of commuters. They also questioned why incidents involving injuries in subway stations had not been prevented if these security measures were truly effective. One commuter pointed out, when there aren't many passengers, many security guards are just chatting or playing games. The money spent on security might be better used to fix broken escalators. The operational challenges facing Beijing subway continue to draw attention. With increasing economic pressures, it remains uncertain whether local governments can continue to provide such large-scale subsidies. If costs aren't controlled and management optimized, these losses could worsen. Who would have thought that the Shanghai subway, once known for its record-breaking passenger numbers, is now facing major layoffs? On August 18th, Shanghai Shentong Metro Group announced a sudden staff restructuring plan, aiming to lay off 6,000 employees. The first wave affects about 2,000 workers, primarily those over 50, many of whom have been with the company for 20 to 30 years. The compensation package is straightforward. Employees who agree to resign by September 30th will receive a severance based on their years of service, plus 5 months' salary and a 10,000 yuan bonus, also known as the N+5 plus 10,000 plan. While the compensation package seems generous on the surface, it hides the harsh reality for older workers being forced to leave. The N+5 compensation is based on years of service, but the additional 10,000 is far too little for employees in their 40s, making it difficult for them to accept. Employees in their 40s face a more complex situation. They are at a critical stage in their careers, often with significant family responsibilities. Although the compensation package may appear attractive, the challenge of finding new employment is substantial. There is uncertainty about whether they will secure a new job and if the pay will match their current salary. If they cannot find work, the situation becomes more difficult, and retirement is still years away. One employee with 25 years of service and a monthly salary of 8,000 yuan received around 300,000 yuan in compensation. Consider this situation. A 45-year-old man with 17 years until retirement currently earns 100,000 yuan per year, including salary and social security contributions. Over 17 years, that's a total to 1.7 million yuan. However, the compensation of 300,000 yuan would only cover about 3 years of expenses. In a city like Shanghai, where housing prices often exceed 10 million yuan, it remains unclear whether this amount will be sufficient to support them during the job search process. On the social media platform Xiaohongshu, a user wrote, "The news of Shanghai Metro's layoffs has taken over my social circle. As an employee who has been working at the metro system for over 15 years, hearing this news really sent chills down my spine. Some colleagues have already been called in for HR meetings, and the whole office feels suffocated by the atmosphere." Why has Shanghai Metro reached the point of large-scale layoffs? The reasons behind this are complex, but the core issues can be summed up in 4 points. First, the high operating costs of the metro. Shanghai Metro, one of the largest subway networks in the world, faces staggering operating costs. From equipment maintenance to energy consumption and employee salaries, every expense seems to be a financial burden. In recent years, ridership has consistently fallen short of expectations. In the first quarter of 2025, daily ridership was only 82% of the pre-pandemic levels. The shadow of operating losses looms large. Second, high labor costs. Long-term employees earn an average of 8,000 to 15,000 yuan per month, while new hires with bachelor's degrees start at just 4,000 yuan, creating a significant pay gap. Third, the rising day-to-day expenses of metro operations. Increased energy prices have dramatically raised electricity costs, while frequent maintenance due to aging equipment has kept maintenance expenses high. Fourth, debt pressure. Shanghai Metro Group has a debt-to-asset ratio of over 70%, with annual interest payments exceeding 10 billion yuan. According to official data, Shanghai Metro faced a 1.2 billion yuan loss in 2024. While this amount may seem small, it signals deeper concerns. Industry insiders have revealed that Shanghai Metro's losses have been growing, with cumulative debt exceeding 300 billion yuan in 2024. Under these multiple pressures, the financial situation of Shanghai Metro has become increasingly strained, making layoffs a reluctant measure to reduce operating costs. This round of layoffs at Shanghai Metro is not only an internal adjustment for the company, but also a reflection of the broader challenges facing the entire public transportation industry. Data shows that in the 28 cities that have released their 2024 financial reports, 26 are running at a deficit, even after accounting for government subsidies. This highlights the systemic crisis facing the entire Chinese metro industry. As economic pressures continue to rise, factors like declining ridership and a sluggish real estate market are worsening the operating environment for metro systems. On the evening of August 22nd, Shenzhen Metro Group released its half-year report for 2025. The report shows that the company's revenue for the first half of the year was about 7.3 billion yuan, a 21.7% decrease compared to last year. Although the loss was narrowed by about 430 million yuan compared to the same period last year, the company still reported a net loss of approximately 3.4 billion yuan, with the situation remaining challenging. Looking back at 2024, Shenzhen Metro Group recorded a historic loss of 33.5 billion yuan. This means that every day the metro system operates, nearly 100 million yuan is lost. That's equivalent to burning 63,000 yuan every minute. Once seen as a symbol of urban prosperity, Shenzhen's metro, just a few years ago when the real estate market was booming, was recognized as a national profit leader. Before the pandemic, the annual profits were easily above 10 billion yuan. For many years, Shenzhen Metro relied not just on ticket sales, but on a rail plus property model, considered one of the most profitable in the metro industry. Essentially, wherever the metro expanded, the metro group would develop nearby land, using the profits to support metro operations. This model thrived during the real estate boom, and allowed Shenzhen Metro to become one of the few state-owned metro companies in the country that could be self-sustaining. However, by 2024, this model began to falter. The real estate market remained sluggish, with low property sales and stagnant prices. Both homebuyers and developers have become more cautious. Data shows that in 2024, Shenzhen Metro Group's integrated station city development business saw a sharp drop of 46%, once a major source of revenue for the company. In many cities in China, metro profits are not solely dependent on ticket sales, but on the real estate industry. The idea is that when a metro line is built, property prices in the surrounding area rise, and this contributes to the metro company's earnings. For example, the well-known Optics Valley Square station in Wuhan, located on Line 2 and Line 11, is in one of the city's most dynamic areas. Commercial spaces in metro areas have also become a key revenue source for metro groups. However, what does the commercial landscape look like now? According to data, the vacancy rate for commercial properties at Optics Valley Square in Wuhan has reached 37%, with rental prices for metro-linked commercial spaces dropping by 20%. As many commercial projects in second- and third-tier cities fail to attract tenants, and with lower consumer expectations leading to fewer people going out to shop, the value of commercial spaces linked to the metro is shrinking. In other words, if shops in these areas can all be rented out and the rent is high, it can help boost metro group revenue. But if these shops remain vacant, it will affect the profitability of the metro group. From first-tier cities like Beijing and Shanghai to second-tier cities like Hangzhou, Kunming, and Lanzhou, metro systems once seen as engines of growth have now become heavy burdens on local finances. After spending trillions, many cities are now stuck in the dilemma of building but unable to sustain. In September 2023, there were reports of wage delays at the Kunming Metro station. According to internal sources, over 2,000 employees were owed more than 200 million yuan in wages and pension contributions. Employees revealed that since May 2023, some workers went without pay for 4 consecutive months, and had to borrow money from family and friends to survive. Facing massive losses, many metro systems have started implementing cost-saving measures. Since April 2023, Hangzhou Metro has introduced a shift adjustment model, suspending some elevator operations during non-peak hours. This has led to complaints online, with some pointing out that even the metro is now implementing an 8-hour workday, complete with weekends off. The root cause of this crisis lies in the contradiction between the economic nature of metro operations and the current economic environment. Without enough ridership and financial support, blind expansion will only lead cities into debt traps. In Lanzhou, a city in western China, the metro is struggling even more. Its debt ratio has soared to 82.4%, and employees' wages have been consistently delayed. Without government subsidies, Lanzhou Metro would have collapsed long ago. Xi'an Metro, with a loss of around 1.5 billion yuan, faces similar challenges. While the city is a popular tourist destination with packed ridership during holidays, the daily commuter demand is not as steady as in first-tier cities. With Shanxi province overall financial situation strained, the future of Xi'an Metro remains uncertain. Perhaps most concerning is the total debt of metro companies nationwide, which has surpassed 4.7 trillion yuan, twice as much as Evergrande's debt. This enormous debt is like an overwhelming burden, with interest payments draining substantial amounts from local government finances every year. One major reason for the large-scale losses in China's metro systems is poor planning focused only on short-term gains. During the golden era of land-based financing, building metro systems was seen as a nearly risk-free business. First, it boosted GDP. Second, it facilitated land sales, providing local governments with more revenue. Third, metro construction was a significant achievement for local governments. And fourth, the funds for metro construction didn't need to be paid immediately, as they were funded by debt. As a result, metro construction surged across China, with many plans being disconnected from the actual passenger demand and the economic capacity of the local areas. Chinese policymakers believed that by building metros in the suburbs, they could wait for population growth to increase ridership. This has led to situations like Ningbo's Gaotang Bridge Station, which sits in the middle of rice fields with only single-digit passenger numbers during peak hours. In Kunming, Line 6 goes to the airport, but passengers prefer taxis, and the trains often run nearly empty. Suburban lines, once seen as promising, have now become financial black holes. Many of the new urban areas planned on the maps remain empty, with abandoned plots like those near Nanning East Station, which failed to sell 3 times. Bulldozers sit rusting in fields overrun with weeds. Now the harsh reality has set in. Many new districts in cities still have no residents, and the metro systems remain unused. Even if shops or advertisements are present, the rental income is low, and the share of non-ticket revenue is extremely small. When the real estate market falters, land sales dry up, and finances fall short, metro systems still have to operate. It is only then that local governments realize they have dug themselves a deep hole. The situation becomes even worse as metro systems already operating at a loss continue to expand. The more they build, the deeper the losses, creating a bottomless pit. In the end, it all falls back on government subsidies, draining the city's financial system. As the debt snowball grows, the question arises: who will ultimately pay for the 4.7 trillion yuan debt of the metro systems? This heavy burden will not disappear on its own. The primary entity responsible is clear: local government finances. The continuous massive subsidies will severely squeeze investments in other public sectors like education and healthcare. Taxpayers will be increasingly affected as government funds come directly from taxes. The burden is already starting to be shared, whether people notice it or not.